Hi, Fraternity for Life community. We are back. As we mentioned, we are going to be doing a weekly video series for you. And this week, we are going to be answering all the questions that you sent us by way of Instagram. So we are excited for you to learn a little bit more about our Fraternity for Life staff. So the first question that we received was, why DePaul? So Mary is going to start us off and tell us why she decided to join the OSI and DePaul family.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, so this was a pretty easy question for me. It's like fresh in my brain because I just started not that long ago. But the reason I chose to even apply at DePaul was, one, the way that the staff that I had spoken with spoke so highly of their roles and their jobs, especially within the Office of Student Involvement. So that was a big win for me. But also I wanted to work at a mission-driven institution, and one that's really, its founding was based on its mission and its commitment to social justice. I think that all of that kind of, for me, aligned with my own personal values, and it just made it a really easy decision for me to choose DePaul.
Yeah, I would definitely say, echoing a lot of things, that I think the mission really drove me to continue to reach and learn more about DePaul. And so coming to campus and talking to the students, all those things really kind of solidified, okay, I need to be here at DePaul. I think working with students keeps me here, and they're just the commitment to their community is just really awesome. So that's why I continue to stay.
So I have been at DePaul for almost 4.5 years, and I often tell people this is the best place I've ever worked, and there's so many reasons that I've stayed so long. This is my third mission-driven university that I've worked at, and I think it says a lot about how the staff really interact with the students, and they always go the extra mile, and I think that goes back to our Vincentian values, and so that's why I continue to stay at DePaul and be a Blue Demon. Well, so our next question was, what are you most excited to do when this is all over with?
Wow. Go to a restaurant, eat with people. I think I would really like hugs, so getting a hug. I think I'm excited to hug my friends.
Yeah. I think for me, brunch is the top thing on my mind. I'm really ready to go to a restaurant, eat around other people again. For some reason, brunch is the thing that's popping into my head, probably because I haven't gotten to experience that in Chicago yet.
It's so great here too.
It's so good. So many places.
So many places. But also, I think in general, just getting to explore the city, I have not gotten to do that at all yet. And so being new to Chicago, I'm so excited to go to museums or go to all the cute little stores and wander around and do things like that. I'm excited for that opportunity.
It's right behind me.
Behind Pierre.
Right behind Pierre. I would say very similar. I'm just ready to be in a crowded place again. I don't think I will ever complain about waiting 30 minutes to get seated at a restaurant, or just going to a coffee shop and hanging out. I definitely miss just being able to go see friends after work and hang out. So looking just forward to being with people again, and then also being back in the Office of Student Involvement. So our team has been doing a lot of great work virtually, but also just excited to be able to pop into each other's offices and see students every day.
For sure.
So our next question was, why did you decide to join your chapter?
Well, so mine's kind of a complicated story with my chapter. I went through recruitment because my college roommate encouraged me to. I was like, absolutely not, I'm not doing that. And I really didn't feel a connection with the chapter that I ended up joining at the end of recruitment. And so I actually withdrew from recruitment and was offered a snap bid, is what it's called, at the end of the recruitment process, and was like, well, if they're interested in me, I might as well give them a chance. And yeah, that ended up being the best experience that I could have asked for. I had an amazing college sorority experience, but I it really took me a lot of reflecting to figure out like if that was the path that was best for me. And I essentially like went through recruitment and joined a sorority period because I wanted friends. I went to college like 3 hours away from my hometown, and no one that I went to high school with attended the same college as me. And so I really just needed a group of people to be friends with because didn't really have anyone. So yeah.
Yeah, my story is a little bit different too. I am a refounding father of my chapter, Phi Alpha Theta at Nebraska Kearney. I joined when I was a junior. I did 5 years in undergrad. So I joined, I decided to sign on to be a refounding father the beginning of my junior year. And so really like putting together like pretty much the building chapter from the ground up was a different experience than most IFC men have. So I joined because I felt like there wasn't a chapter on campus that really spoke to me. So the opportunity to really create something for ourselves was really cool. And so that's kind of why I decided to do that. But then what Phi Delta stood for meant a lot to me too. So I think that's why I just continued to pursue it and help build the chapter.
So my story is also a little bit different. And so I was a transfer student. So I joined my chapter second semester of my sophomore year. And so I went to a very large university. And so I was really just trying to find a good group of friends and not be in a sea of 40,000 students. So I was able to like find that through Alpha Chi Omega. I knew from day one, they were the first chapter I saw during an informal recruitment process. I just felt like I could be my authentic self and felt like I could like run home and like find friends very quickly. And so it became much more than just finding friends. But it was a great experience, and I'm like very happy that it all worked out. But yeah, just a little bit unique in joining as a second semester sophomore. Oh, this is a good one. So if you could be quarantined with any celebrity, who would it be and why?
I would definitely pick, it's not one person, I guess it's like a family, the Obamas, because I feel like that'd just be so much fun to be like a family for as long as this lasts. So I would definitely choose the Obamas.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Oh my gosh, I just have so many different ways that this could go. I'm like, if I wanted to be reflective, I would invite this person. Anyways, so one of two ways. It would either be Brene Brown, because I would learn a ton of stuff about myself. I am confident if I did that. It would be like a self-reflection pool that I would be sitting in the entire time. Or Whitney Port. So for those of you who are familiar with The Hills or The City or Whitney Port is like one of my favorite people to follow on Instagram now. And I think if we were like in real life, I would probably be friends with her. Like, yeah. So those are my two humans.
So mine's also like not one person. So I would like to be quarantined with the entire Grey's Anatomy cast from the beginning. So the original cast, because I feel like there'd just be so much like good gossip and like they would keep and entertained. And some of like my favorites would come back to life, aka Derek Shepherd. So just be really excited to like spend all the time with Grey's Anatomy staff. And
can you imagine spending the entire time with Ellen Pompeo?
Oh, just amazing.
Sign me up. I'm here for it.
I still watch Grey's Anatomy. I will like watch it until it ends. So it's a great show. Okay, so favorite chapter memory. Wow, this would be like 10 years ago for me.
Yeah.
I know.
I have a lot of really favorite chapter memories. I think like not the weirdest thing, but I really loved chapter meetings on Mondays at 7 p.m. in the chapter room. They were like the best time to really just like be with everyone because there's a choir that everyone had to be there. We're very stickler about like you come to chapter meeting. So I think the part I loved the most was the end of it. We did like proud to be. So like you do like say something about your week, and at the end you'll go proud to be a Phi. And so it was really cool just to kind of hear everyone talk about like what's going on in their life at that point. So I think that's that's like my favorite memory about like being in my chapter. One of my favorite memories.
I think mine is right before I graduated. So similar to Pierre, I also did 5 years in undergrad. And right before I graduated, I was going through the interview process to be an educational leadership consultant. And it was at a point where there had been some like turmoil in the chapter, and I wasn't feeling super connected to my sorority and was really ready for graduation. But the amount of support that I got through that entire process was really like eye-opening for me of like what sisterhood really is like. And like it kind of made me realize that like you're gonna have these moments where you don't agree with your chapter advisors or your sisters, or you don't like the path the chapter is taking, or you're just not getting along with members in your own chapter. But so many of those same women who I was having trouble with, or we just weren't getting along at that point in time, really came together to support me in that process, which was a really big deal for me. Yeah, so I think that's one thing that is like probably one of my favorite chapter memories. I also, not necessarily a chapter memory, but I loved being on Panhellenic Council. Some of my best friends from undergrad to this day are women from other chapters that I met whenever I was Panhellenic president or whenever I was a recruitment counselor. Yeah, so like literally any moment during that entire year of serving on Panhellenic Council can be counted as like a favorite chapter memory.
So I would have to say I was fortunate enough to live in my chapter house for 2 years, and it was just like a really rewarding experience, being able to just like live in a space with like 46 women and really be able to like support each other. Like I still remember like studying like all night with some of my sorority sisters, and like being able to like eat dinner together every night. And we definitely took for granted that experience, because now we all like live all over the US, and so I miss like living so close to everyone. And I like still remember like on initiation night, we would all have like dinner together, all 120 of us. And so that rarely ever happened. And so I definitely remember like always like those like meal times together, and how like special they were. So would love to go back and live in a house with 46 women. It'd be very different today, but I loved it when I was an undergrad. Okay, so someone asked, what is your go-to restaurant?
Go-to restaurant.
Oh, I can answer. Home Slice. I like go to Home Slice all the time, and I just get a cheese pizza. I know that's weird, but I like just love their cheese pizza with ranch, but it's so good.
Home Slice is really good. RIP to State. Their cheese curds were amazing.
They were so good.
I have to say State probably. Or Harold's Chicken is really good. They just built one by my apartment, so I've eaten it a lot of times already. Yeah, I guess those three.
I don't really know that I have like a go-to restaurant quite yet, but the places that I've eaten at the most like frequently would be Crisp in Lakeview. Absolutely love it. And D Cuisine, which is a dim sum place in, I guess it's technically in Lincoln Park, but yeah, we've probably eaten most frequently at those too. So.
Ooh, the crepe shop in Lincoln Park is also really good.
Yes.
So the strawberries, Nutella, it's the move always.
Oh, and Jam and Honey is really good, but you have to have cash, so I like never go. But I like fully support Jam and Honey. You just have to remember to get cash. So good. Okay, so the next question was favorite chapter value.
I have a couple. I'm not like silly enough to say like all of them, I love all of them, but there are a couple for me that are that kind of stand out. So the first one is curiosity and the idea of being a lifelong learner. That is something that I take seriously, like in my personal and professional life. Like I'm constantly trying to grow and develop, and like attending webinars or reading books or things like that, just to kind of better understand the world. And then empowerment, and I fully support the idea of like women's empowerment and kind of the idea behind like what does it mean to make an equitable and just society for all genders. And then belonging. Obviously I joined a sorority because I wanted to make friends, and I think the like best thing that any sorority or fraternity can offer their members is a place to be themselves, vulnerable, open, and honest all of the time, and create a real true sense of belonging in members. So I think that those three are probably my favorite.
I think that friendship is my favorite because really like the fraternity experience is lifelong. And so like I've been in like brothers' weddings and watch them have kids and go back for alumni events. I think that's really great. I think the one thing that like struck my interest the most with Phi Delta was the tagline at the time. I think it's the tagline was become the greatest version of yourself. And so really like, how do you do that every day? And so really like living throughout like your life trying to be better than you were yesterday. So I can think that kind of my mantra right now is don't stop until you're proud. And so I think that kind of like ties into like become a greatest version of yourself, because like just really how can you like continue to live your life making yourself proud every day and things that you do. So I think that's like my favorite value, my favorite thing about Phi Delta.
I would have to say my favorite Alpha Chi value is commitment. So when you become an alumna member, they kind of add in this value of commitment because it's such a key component of being a lifelong member of the sorority. And so for me, commitment just plays a huge part in my life. I think whenever like I decide to do something, like I commit to it, and I think like being reliable is like a huge thing for me. And so I think that just like plays into commitment. And also Alpha Chi Omega's like motto is together, let us seek the heights. And I've always really believed in that, like believed in like this team effort in like pushing the boundary or moving the needle. Like you can't do that by yourself. You have to have a group of individuals that are striving for a common purpose. So I've always really related to together, let us seek the heights.
I think that one thing I realized that I haven't said my affiliation once in this entire video, and I noticed that both Natalie and Pierre are sharing. And I was like, oh yeah, I should probably say what so we were talking before this video started about our values and things like that. And one thing I have always connected more with, even so than values, was the Delta Zeta Creed. So I'm a member of Delta Zeta. And the line that has followed me throughout my entire life is to myself faith. And it's the thing that I send to all of my sorority sisters when I know they're going through a tough time. So I think that that's another piece, like maybe not necessarily a tagline or a motto or a value, but the line in our creed that has followed me my entire life is to myself faith, and remembering that whenever I'm not feeling quite as confident as I would hope to be. So sorry to like chime back in there, but
oh, that's a good one. So switching gears, this one's a little bit more controversial. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No, it does.
No, it does not belong.
It does not belong.
True, it does not belong.
I'm gonna let the haters speak first, but pineapple absolutely belongs on pizza. The best like Hawaiian pineapple pizza is at Hometown Pizza in Bloomfield, Kentucky. I'm here for it. Sign me up. But pineapple absolutely belongs on pizza. It does. I don't really have like, yes, it does. I don't really have like a lot of arguments here except for yes, it does.
That's not a good argument.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I just don't believe in it. I said
like, it's like you wouldn't put like jelly on a steak, right?
Okay, but don't yuck someone else's yum, okay? Like, why you gotta be so? People feel so strongly that it doesn't, and I just
it
like
doesn't. It does not.
It does.
We'll have to do like an Instagram poll one day. We'll see who wins.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you believe that. If that's your truth, I'll let that for you.
Yeah.
So our last question, and I think this is the best one. What's the weirdest thing about you?
So I can tell you the weirdest thing about me, and I actually had to ask my fiance because I was like, I don't think there's anything weird about me. Like, I think all of my things are perfectly normal. But I stand like a flamingo when I brush my teeth. I have forever, like forever. I just always stand on one leg when I'm brushing my teeth. I don't know why I do it. Like closer to tree pose than like a flamingo, but like every time, always, that's what I do.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I have two things. The first being I've never tried bacon, and I just say I don't like it. I just never have tried it. I feel like Pierre feels some way about this. I just have no desire to ever try it. And the second thing, which I think people think is like just really odd, is I wash and blow dry my hair every single day and straighten it too. But yeah, people also think that's very odd.
That takes so much effort.
Go back to the bacon piece.
Sure.
I'm really worried that you've never tried bacon.
I mean, I've survived like 29 years without it, so I think
It's
I'm
like,
okay.
It's like my favorite breakfast meat, though. Like, it's bacon.
I don't know. Just never have wanted to try it.
Oh my
I
god.
love bacon.
I have to change that.
Okay.
I think the word. Okay, so the well, which one do I want to pick?
Tell all your secrets. All the secrets.
I hate hoodie. I hate a hood. Like hoodies on like a jacket or a shirt or a coat. I hate hoods. They're weird to me. I don't like them.
Okay.
And then I have a lot of pillows on my bed, so I sleep with like 6, 7 pillows on my bed at all times, and not like decoration pillows, like actual like pillows people lay them.
Oh.
I'm a pillow guy. I don't know why. It's just like college. This is also weird. So I don't know why I'm saying this. When I was in college, every time I went to Walmart, I like bought a pillow every time I went because like I don't know. Don't ask me questions about it. I just did, and so I like had all these pillows. And so I just got comfortable with all these pillows surrounding me. It's like you're sleeping on a cloud. I don't know. It's weird. That's definitely the weirdest thing about me is the pillow thing.
That is interesting.
I wouldn't say like that this is weird about me, but one thing that I feel like people should know is that I cannot like you publish your like something else, but I can't read sarcasm. Like it doesn't come through at all. Like I just like right over my head, and most of the time I like stare awkwardly at people and try to figure out if they're like being serious or joking, and like end up like half laughing and like walking away. I just like can't read it. I have no idea when people are being sarcastic.
Wait, are you for real?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to you.
Well, this concludes our Q&A, but this was really fun. So we will do this again sometime, but you will see us again next Tuesday. As always, if you like have suggestions or different ideas for us, feel free to email or direct message us on Instagram, but we will see you next Tuesday. So bye.
Bye.